This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano,
I think he's going to get suspended regardless. This is the ginger hammer we're talking about here.
Nick Morgasen. I've never seen a lawyer go to Instagram. Doesn't matter if you're the hotshot lawyer or the lawyer that works in the barbershop because he can't afford his own office, which is what I think Tony Busby is. And Nick Fodera.
Why do I feel like one of the innocent bystanders to a drunken man who just, strapped rocket boots naked to himself during a snowstorm?
Empty the Bench starts now.
And welcome to another edition of Empty the Bench. This is episode number 78. Tom Albano here along with Nick Morgasen, Nick Fodera. As usual, gentlemen, a lot of news coming forth. We had a trade deadline. We had NFL draft movements. We have baseball coming up. It seems like sports, we're getting into the thick and thin of things once again. Everything's picking up.
So now that we have a lot of headlines to let's not dilly around anymore and let's get right to it.
No dilly dallying.
And by the way, we had an extra headline. What did I tell you? Every week we say, hopefully there's no big headlines happening. A big headline.
Always is.
Mm-hmm. So we have like nine or so topics we have to get through. So let's get right into it. Let's around the horn this. Deshaun Watson, once again, our top headline. Basically, I'll say we haven't had much movement on this story in the last, as you said, Nick, before the show, 72 hours or so. But nevertheless, we had a lot of updates since we first talked about the story last week. So now, Deshaun Watson, the number of allegations of sexual assault and other allegations that he is facing, now up to 30.
So, does anybody else feel like an idiot for thinking that this was all smoke and mirrors? Because I do. I really do. Because even if 15 of these allegations are made up, that still leaves another 15 that do have something to them.
I don't know what to believe at this point. There's
too much.
There's so much up in the air with this story that I've lost at the amount of lawsuits. And by the way, I just saw that he put up another Instagram post yesterday, and I'm looking at his Instagram, by the way, and for someone who's
you were just squinting, squinting,
yes, because I just saw something very terrifying as a lawyer that shouldn't be posted on.
Here's I was gonna say, here's my thing, 30 allegations. You have to think at least one of these might be true, and if at least one is true, then how many of these are actually are true. And then you also have the court theory of, well, if you blow one, it's unbelievable how this story has blown up. Our old friend AJ from the Unspoken Podcast days, basically saying, he hasn't been able. I forget how many days ago he said this, AJ Perez. But basically saying that in the 10 plus years of NFL coverage he's done, all the outside the lines issues, he's never seen anything blow to this proportion. And Nick, you are right in that, I have to believe at least some of these are true, but Tony Busby and the way that he's going about this, he's going about this in a way, let's say a lawyer, a prosecutor should not be going about things by posting stuff to Instagram and just... That initial post too, I still can't get over. I'm a Marine. I'm a father.
We'll go through these posts, but he posted one about 16 hours ago, and he puts a picture of an organization, TAASA, Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and he writes a message that says, "Today we filed case number 20 against Deshaun Watson. Voices will be heard. These cases will be resolved in court. It's not okay." Now, I've said this to the guys, and we've kind of gone back and forth on this whole thing. And I think, Tom, you agreed with me partially on this. Who the heck posts evidence and messages about a case? You're not supposed to talk about a case anywhere.
That's why I said the way that he's
supposed to, right? It is illegal.
That's why I said the way he's going about this is really, really wrong. And like I said, I know there are no criminal as far as I know, there are no criminal investigations, a criminal trial. I'm not sure if in a criminal trial, even if Watson did at least one of these, it's going to stand by the way that Tony Busby has been going about this with his social media.
The other thing I want to mention also, because some of these comments coincide with one another. This was last week. Per advice from a well-known criminal defense attorney, our team will be submitting affidavits and evidence from several women who had experiences with Deshaun Watson to the Houston Police Department and the Houston District Attorney that morning. We will request that a grand jury be impaneled to consider the evidence we provide. First of all,
doesn't an arrest need to be made before a grand jury?
A grand jury is actually convened in this case?
Yes.
From what I've read and research I've done, there has to be charges before you can bring a jury in. Okay? So he's saying all these things. First of all, if he's a lawyer, he's not a very smart lawyer by any means.
I mean, I'd hate to... I don't know whether he's crazy or crazy like a fox. It's really hard to tell. But look, it's not that. Well, the Houston Police Department has not actually.
There are no charges as far as we know.
They haven't made any comment on the situation because there are no charges, right?
Correct. There are no charges as of yet. Well, right now we have only civil suits. We only have civil. We don't have criminal.
Again, not to say that his gallivanting around in the court of public opinion it makes what these alleged victims are saying. It's not that like what he's doing is making them untrue retroactively.
Correct.
But it is it is making it not about the victims when he's making it about himself when it should be.
This is. I think I told you guys this in a pre-show meeting. This is becoming a case of he's trying to be a Hollywood lawyer, which. We said last week if he wants his victims to get his victims should be believed, but if he wants it more on the victims and their stories and shaming Deshaun, he's got to slow down, Busby.
Well, take it seriously.
I'll go one step further because we were discussing this in pre-show meetings, the messages and the text messages that he's been posting. Which, by the way, is there privacy laws that are being broken in some?
I mean, if the victims provided it, then if they
it's not so much about the victim. Well, I wasn't going to go with the victims. I was going to go with one of the Instagram posts that you were going to mention, Nick, the confidentiality letter with the NFL. Now, does the NFL have a case against Mr. Busby?
It says confidential in the top right portion of the letter. How dumb do you have to be?
Well, did we actually mention that during last week's show?
No,
it wasn't out yet. It wasn't out yet.
Yeah, so context is necessary. We probably should say that.
I want to read one more thing, which is Tony Busby posted a text message chain with a detective. Now, Tom made a good point that we don't know if he blurred the name out, he changed it, whatever he did. But he says that he spoke to Tony Busby spoke to a detective for whatever reason, claims now that they haven't had contact with me regarding the Deshaun Watson situation. I guess technically they're correct. The truth is a detective I know reached out to me. I've made clear that when my clients are ready, we will submit a package to the police. So I can't tell if he's, like Nick said, if he's out to do it for his own personal vendetta or if he's trying to protect these women.
Or it could be, okay, well, why can't both be true?
Both probably are true. I mean, he's probably thinking that he can do this as a 2-for-1 deal, but not that this means that these victims should not be believed, absolutely taken seriously.
That's not my point. My point is...
Yeah, I know. I'm reiterating that point.
These victims can be believed. We can shame Deshaun if at least one of these are true. But the way that Tony Busby is going about this is it's bizarre.
Well, it is bizarre.
I'll go back to something you said in the last episode, Tom. He's trying to create buzz, as you said in the last episode.
I regret ever saying that.
You had to go with the pun. Even in serious situations. I swear to God, somebody could be on their deathbed and say, well, I guess you're getting a lot of rest now.
That's worse.
Must you pun? Seriously.
No, but I think that's accurate, that he's looking for more buzz, no pun intended, and he doesn't care about these women. I don't think he does.
I think he does. It's still his clients.
They're still his clients, but we shouldn't be we shouldn't be armchair lawyering this. I mean,
yeah, but look at the timing of this whole thing. Oh, I want to be traded. Oh, now a sexual assault case comes out, And first of all, this case, if you look at the timestamps on the text messages, it was from 2020, a year ago.
Well, Busby doesn't, as I say, Busby credibility as a lawyer, I mean, there's a lot of questions around it. Although Deshaun's defense attorney has a lot of questions around him, Mr. Rusty Harden. Which, again, horrible name. Horrible name.
Unfortunate name. I mean, seriously. Yes. Meet my friends, the divorce lawyers. Love them, burn them, and leave them. I mean, it really just doesn't. It just doesn't. You can't take it seriously. You really can't.
I kind of agree with AJ in that this case is just. This is something not of this earth. This is absolutely insanity.
But Tom, you made a good point. The text messages. First, well, the NFL confidential letter is a grounds for a lawsuit.
I was going to say maybe there's more context to it, to him posting it. But as far as on the surfaces, that's posting a confidential letter from the National Football League. Now, what can the National Football League do, and what will the National Football League do, if anything?
You know why they won't get involved is because it has to do with sexual assault with women. They won't get involved.
The NFL doesn't have a great reputation with that.
Yeah, they don't want to seem as stepping on anybody's toes, just to protect what is essentially an intellectual property thing.
Well, or you could just say the Shield, but that's neither here nor there.
Shield.
The Shield. Oh no, the Shield! Ah, it hurts.
It's blinding me. No. But I want to talk about the text messages because this is where I have a problem. Because we talk about this all the time that you shouldn't be posting private, confidential conversations on social media. That gets people in trouble. Whether it's the average everyday Joe. Or it's
not in court or as part of discovery.
Right.
This is not in court of law.
No. He literally posts a text message conversation between one of the accusers and Deshaun Watson.
Again, you can't do that outside of discovery for a court of law because it would have come out had this gone to trial.
And this tells me that he was looking for attention. You don't post that looking for help.
Again, both are true in that, I think he does care about his victims. I think he wants justice, but I think you are right, Nick Morgasen, in that he sees the fact that Deshaun Watson is a public figure, a big National Football League quarterback. And it's like, how can I, brand? What can this do for my brand too?
Again, I reiterate.
Which again, he needs.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Again, he needs to slow this down.
Go ahead.
I just don't get that. Literally, you can see the messages, and I don't remember what you said, Tom, but you said something about the second one as well, that there was some weird discrepancies with the way the text message chain looked, right? Their conversation.
I don't think I said that. I think that was you.
I can't find the other one at the moment. It looks like it might have actually been taken down, actually, because I can't find it now. But he posted two conversations, and it was talking about, like, make sure you use the bathroom before you come to the house because the bathroom's out of order. And then there was an apology in there. And, like, you're reaching. And to a point where, Tom, I think you said, how can you get a...
No, that was you. That was you.
No. This was a separate thing. Saying that, how can you get a jury for this case if you've already have a public opinion out there in the media?
Well, you're going that route. Yeah, so, will this stand in criminal court? In a criminal court, I don't know, only because of the way Busby's gone about this and the way that he's gone to the media. I mean, that, to me, at least in my opinion, is a violation of, the right to a fair trial. So I don't think Deshaun's going to get anything criminally on this. Now, civilly and the court of public opinion, you're right, Nick, because at least one of these might be true. And if that's the case, Deshaun, like, even if 29 are not true and one is, that's...
One is more than enough.
It's death. Like I said last episode, if he's guilty of one of the 30 cases, it's death.
Even if he's cleared of all 30, when it comes to his on the field presence, you heard me in the intro that the NFL will come down on him either way.
His reputation is shot.
Yeah, but we do know, and we have to move on from this. But I'll say that Roger Goodell, like you said, even though he's the ginger hammer, he's not going to do anything to actually give a true punishment.
Well, I was going to say, not yet. He's going to wait for everything to play out in criminally, civilly, and then he's going to get involved. And I want to see how many games he...
Look what happened with Ray Rice.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to see what happens with him. I want to see what happens with Lattimore, who just got locked up for possession of a weapon, and I want to see what they do with Melvin Gordon. And I want to see what they do with Melvin Gordon and his DUI. Because if Deshaun, because if he goes about this the wrong way in terms of the suspension, how many games? Not just how many games, but the order of the severity of it. That could be damning to the NFL. It could just be another page. We were saying everyone was trying to overtake Goodell for the worst commissioner. He could earn some points back if the
this is like a game. Like, who wants to be worse? Like, no, you have it. No, you take it. No, you take it.
Wheel of Terrible Commissioners.
I thought you were going to go Wheel of Discipline joke, but that works too. All right, moving on now to the hockey world for a little bit. Tim Peel has been fired and banned from refereeing NHL games for an incident that went over the air. He was hot mic'd, basically. So
do we have to say this again? Like, do we literally have to make this point every single week? Like, Nick, you make this point very well. What are we going to say here?
Watch what you, first of all, always assume you're being recorded.
That's the one. Yes.
Always assume the mic is hot. Yes.
Thank you. And I've been in broadcasting. I've worked in the radio business for almost 4 years.
What do you think we're doing right now?
But my point is, whenever I worked in the radio station, I was very adamant to make sure the mics were off in case weird shit would end up over the air, and then the talent doesn't get in trouble for it. The board up and the producer.
I guess he heard the music, must have thought he was in break or something. Let's play the clip.
Yeah, play the clip.
First of all, trigger warning, he does use the F word. So again,
what happened?
Trigger warning, he does use the F word. So yeah, play
the clip. So let's start a clip though.
It wasn't much, but I wanted to get a fucking penalty against Nashville early in the.
Yeah, so he drops. I'd say so. It's kind of troubling on two ends. Number one, in the broadcast realm, he drops the F-bomb on TV and it goes uncensored. There's already trouble there. But second of all, for the little context, it was a game between the Nashville Predators and the Detroit Red Wings. I guess something happened earlier in the game in which there was no penalty called on Nashville when there could have been. And he admits basically that they passed on it, which...
I screwed up. Now I have to make up for it.
Right, which...
that's worse.
I was going to say, I think that's worse than just dropping the F-bomb because that's pretty much suspicion of, are you playing fair?
I mean, throwing penalties arbitrarily.
Right. And Nick, no, Mr. NBA here, you and that league should know something about potential crooked refs. We talk about the Tim Donaghy thing.
Yeah, well, Tim, Tim didn't say anything of that variety, but he got in trouble for changing shaving points.
I was going to say, may I remember the Western Conference final between the Lakers and the Kings.
Tim Donaghy.
But here's what I'll say. I have no issue with the F-bomb. Okay,
the F-bomb's not the problem here. That's not the operative concern.
Right. You know what? Because cursing happens by the athletes all the time. It gets picked up by a hot mic.
It happens on award shows. It happens everywhere.
So that's not my issue here. My issue here is that he said, "Oh, I need to make a makeup call for something I didn't call earlier."
Which, speaking from a hockey fan's perspective, every hockey fan knows that. Every hockey fan knows those penalties are arbitrary. Ask any hockey fan, they'll tell you.
And just so you know, you can't say anything like that anymore because of the gambling standard and how high it is. You can't say whether a makeup call needs to be made or not. That affects the betting line in games and before and after games.
Also, it ruins your credibility about what is a penalty and
not just his credibility.
I'd say
all referees' credibility and the NHL's credibility.
So if he's not doing it, it's absolutely indicative of this is other people are doing it.
And I give praise and I give praise to the NHL and to Bettman for handling this very quickly.
They fired him immediately.
Fired and banned right on the spot.
Right, and that's what I said. So as soon as he said that, I guarantee you gambling lines changed in-game when that happened. I'm telling you.
Moving on now, speaking of the NBA, Nick Morgasen, if you would like to go over some of the NBA trade deadline that happened this week.
See, you're going to find this shocking, the words that are about to come out of my mouth, but this NBA trade deadline was boring.
I mean, we had more flair and more like awesomeness from the NFL free agency last week.
I mean, considering we have a tendency, I mean, what we do here is basically making mountains out of molehills, but this was a molehill. I mean, we're empty the bench. We're Molehill Inc. But still, I mean, there was a whole bunch of nothing here, especially considering the hype.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest name that didn't get traded was Kyle Lowry of the Raptors, who's he's going to be a free agent this coming offseason. He's still a star player, even though I think he's going to be 35 in the offseason, but he's still a star. It was rumored he was going to go to the 76ers. It didn't happen for whatever reason. I think that Ujiri, the guy who's been in the controversy circle before with all the cops. And
the GM of the Rockets must have.
No, GM of the Raptors.
Raptors.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't trade him because now they're going to lose him for nothing, probably in the offseason. But the big name that was traded was Aaron Gordon. Now, the Orlando Magic are kind of like the Baltimore Orioles of Major League Baseball, where
they're the stopover for talent, and then you start good there, and then you leave.
Well, you remember back in the 90s, the Baltimore Orioles were the team. They had all the stars.
Yeah.
Now,
they were one of the second fiddles to the Yankees.
Right. Now, no one gives a crap about the Orioles or in the NBA, the Orlando Magic. The only thing people remember about the Orlando Magic is when Shaq was there as a star back in the day, or that regard.
Put some respect on Penny Hardaway's name.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll give you Penny Hardaway.
And Dwight Howard.
Well,
exactly. I mean,
Dwight Howard. It started good, and then the feud with Van Gundy happened.
The injury bug. And
the feud with Van Gundy.
Yeah, and the feud with Van Gundy. So
I think he should go back into his Superman disguise. Let's put it that way. Anyway, what I would say is Aaron Gordon was the biggest player that was traded, biggest star that was traded. Denver's is amazing now with Aaron Gordon, and for some reason the guy's name is slipping my head. The center, who is the big star, but now they have two big 7-foot guys.
Yeah,
there in the
and
fall.
You're talking about Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Nikola Jokic. Yeah.
He's probably one of the top 5 players in all of.
I mean, Denver. I think Denver's back to a level that the last time I remember Denver being at this level was when Melo was still there.
Melo, Chauncey Billups when he was traded to the Nuggets. I'm sure a lot of people forget that, by the way.
Kenyon Martin.
So yeah, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I still think the Lakers are the favorite, even though LeBron.
LeBron and Herb are washed. They end up a lower seed, and they're just going to run through the competition in the playoffs.
Yeah, because who's going to stop them?
When you have LeBron and AD. I love it though when LeBron, and not the injury, but when LeBron went down with the injury and he was out indefinitely. I think Adam Silver did a collective when that whole injury happened, because now they're not going to get the ratings that they have when LeBron's not on the court anymore.
Because God knows that's all Adam Silver cares about.
I'd say the ratings aren't even good this season to start with.
No sports ratings are good right now. Believe it or not, news is what's trending up in the ratings right now. Well, surprise there, but anyway. All sports is struggling, including the NBA.
I say news has overtaken sports in the ratings over the past year. It's amazing.
I mean, but let's put it this way: the Lakers didn't make a move. Brooklyn made its moves already. I mean, the Rockets traded Victor Oladipo. That was really one of the biggest moves that happened at the NBA trade deadline. That's, by the way, the second time he's been traded this season. So, not really.
I mean, we have last week with Myers Leonard getting traded, and now he's already released.
Yeah, so. He kind of got what he deserved anyway. So he's now out on the market.
Poor Trevor Ariza.
How many times has he been traded? I lost track. I think like 10 times now.
He's a good player too.
Hey, as a Knicks fan, you should know that he was in that organization too.
Right.
He's the Matt Stairs of the NBA.
Oh, that's a good comparison. It is a really good comparison. But the NBA trade line was boring. There was really nothing there. And that's coming from someone who's Mr. NBA. So
you know what's not boring though, gentlemen? As much as we don't cover college sports on here, March Madness. March Madness has set a record in the first 2 rounds, the round of 64 and the round of 32. The most upsets that we have seen I could go over all of them right here. Let's
Hey,
see.
Oral Roberts, how are you today?
Yeah, Oral Roberts is a number 15 seed. Ohio in the first round. Ohio upsetting Virginia. We've got.
By the way, before you go through all those teams, I think we need to apologize for the Twitter world for the amount of oral jokes that were made. Saying.
It's Twitter.
It's like people making Dick Butkus jokes. I mean,
Yeah.
you get it, but you're essentially a 7-year-old.
I mean, it's Twitter. What do you expect?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you expect? Emotional maturity? We're a sports podcast.
No.
UCLA upset BYU and ACU upset Texas. We had a number 11 versus a number 14 in the second round.
What was that other team that was in? Was it in Texas also?
Hey, I was sorry. I was trying to go through all of them. UNT upsetting Purdue. There's Oral Roberts. Oregon State upsetting Tennessee. Syracuse upsetting San Diego State. The father-son duo over there at Syracuse. Rutgers ended up upsetting Clemson.
Yeah, that was interesting because I watched some of the tournament and I'm like, what the heck is going on in March Madness? I can actually pat myself on the back a little bit. Even though Oral Roberts ruined my bracket, I did call one upset right in the second round. Loyola Chicago upsetting Illinois. Sister Jean returns. Yes.
I mean, that woman is magic. I don't know if it's a gift from God. I'm pretty sure. I correct that. It is a gift from God. But still, I'm happy because, you know what? My brother being a huge Michigan fan, it's nice to see them be the number 1 seed in the Big East. So,
I mean, and Oregon State and Syracuse actually both pulled up offsets in the second round as well. Those two teams are in the
how long has it
16.
been since Syracuse has been this good?
I was going to say, well, Syracuse, I'm surprised with no Jim Boeheim that they actually made it this far.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I was looking at a statistic. It said the highest average seed in Sweet 16 history was 5.88.
I think this was another year in which nobody who made brackets got out of the first round. I think every bracket was busted by the end of round 1.
Didn't they also say the Big Ten was also one of the biggest divisions affected?
Well, Illinois got upset. Illinois was a favorite to win the whole thing.
So if you're in it for the brackets, you're having a terrible time. But if you're in it for the basketball of it all, you're having a pretty good time.
Hey, I'm in it for the brackets, but I don't have money on it, and I like March Madness, so I'm having a hell of a time.
Yeah, you're going to hell with yourself here.
I'm enjoying it, but I'm tired of people saying, well, I don't like all the upsets. I want to see the big... Shut up. I want to see...
The upsets help make March Madness.
Exactly.
And we need an extra dose of madness because we didn't get it last year.
We didn't get any college basketball
Hofstra was supposed to be in last year's tournament. I'm still upset about that.
Well, by the way, does anyone remember the Steph Curry days where Davidson made it as far as they did in the March Madness tournament? That's what this feels like. Okay.
Remember 2011 when the likes of like Gordon Hayward were playing in this tournament? It's always about the future stars too.
I want to see Oral Roberts make it. I do.
Of course you do.
If only to keep making those jokes.
Hey, I'll say, but if we're talking about number 15 seeds, I remember like 7 years ago or so when Florida Gulf Coast slammed dunk.
That was insane.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't they make it like closer to the end?
Like it was either the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. They made
it to the Elite 8, I think.
As a 15 seed, yeah.
And they were
a couple of years back.
And they were seriously outnumbered, like in more ways than one.
Still, I mean, college basketball is fun for college basketball. If you're
and honestly, I like the pace of 2 20-minute halves over quarters.
Well,
if you're only doing this for the brackets, you're limiting the enjoyment you
can
get out of it.
Isn't the women's tournament they play 4 quarters?
Yeah, that's it. They became the NCAA women became 4 quarters in like 2015. I think they've been trying to get it to the men, but I don't know. I enjoy half basketball better than I do quarter basketball.
Because I feel like, I wish they would do that in the NBA actually, but we all know
I was gonna say, I think they were trying to get the quarters system over to the men, but I don't know about that.
The games feel a lot shorter.
That's what I think. I think that they should make 220. Well, the reason the NBA won't do that is because that'll cost them
commercial television and advertising.
Yeah.
Because God forbid we have to go to a couple of bounty commercials, 3 in a row. Actually.
Well, I read, by the way, that the women's tournament, that they made like 14.8, like some round it 15 million, but they lost like $2.5 million. So they're not making money on the tournaments on either side. I don't think.
No, but again, that's part of the fun. And it's the championship that all the teams are competing for. You can't exactly take that away.
No. Let the upsets be.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this shit.
So you guys didn't know about this until
this is the developing story that we kind of foreshadowed.
So as both Nick and Tom know, like I stay up long hours of the night, crazy hours of the night doing things. So I happened to come across this and I said, wow, this is interesting. First of all, I thought it was old news. I didn't think it was like recent. Mm-hmm. And then I find out it was released yesterday and it's all over the tabloids. And in our area here in New York, the Michael Kay show was talking all over, blasting Phil Jackson to the point where I was like, okay, now I got to go look into this. And I found 4 interesting clips, excuse me, that were really interesting about Phil Jackson's time with the Knicks. Now, I want you to play the one we talked about first, which I think was about the media.
Okay.
Because
media.
What I was going to say is that the way this goes, Phil Jackson blames the media, and also the Knicks have a tendency to be shit upon by the national media, and sometimes I think it's unfair because I feel like that it's a fun story for sports media to just.
Well, who do you?
They have not
won
anything of confidence since I was in diapers.
Well,
so.
no, but who do you have to blame for all of that at the top?
Well, yeah, you have James Dolan to blame for it, but I do agree, and I heard Carton and Roberts, another show here in New York on The Fan, they were talking about how it's unfair to blame the Knicks.
Well, I was gonna say, let's put it this way. This season, it seems like they're doing things right. There's a young team. They stay put at the deadline. There is a little bit of glimmer, in that, maybe something is coming of this.
They got talent. They got talent. They got a good coach and he gets his players to play hard for him.
And I think they have a bunch of cap space now at the end of the season.
They do. They actually have
but that doesn't mean anything. How many times have we heard them say that?
How many times have they had that cap space?
Right. They got it
on Joakim Noah.
Right. I mean, I was gonna say, so they got to use the season to boost up their reputation and their young guns. But let's get to this clip.
Okay, so.
Funny I should mention Joakim Noah because look who we're talking about.
Right, and the reason I say media is because that's the first clip. So play the first clip.
Okay.
You had a media that was decidedly against the organization. And they were looking for whatever things they could do to throw aspersions on the organization. And it stemmed from, some misunderstandings and some, according to people that you were there when I got there. And I was like, okay, I think we can overcome these things.
I mean, holy cow, Phil.
This is, of course, blame the media for your own shortcomings. That train's never late.
First of all,
how very Jim Dolan of you.
First of all, Phil Jackson should have never been a GM of a team, period.
I mean, oh God. I mean, think about this. To me is, and I was waiting until we could actually be on air for me to break this down. But a lot of this seems to me like the pyromaniac blaming the family whose house he burned down because he kept the matches close.
But Phil Jackson is never going to take the blame for anything when he was the GM. First of all, what most people don't realize is that Phil Jackson was being a GM from Montana on his ranch and not in New York.
I mean, the reason why they were casting aspersions on you, because you did not win.
Well,
you did not win. You sucked.
Well, there's that. And also, everyone forget, he was also the president of basketball operations, and he was controlling the team.
It's just, it came to a point where I was just like, are you kidding me? Are you telling me that you're blaming the national media and the local media for the reason why the team didn't succeed? You were a terrible GM that didn't know how to do the job, Phil. Admit it.
I mean, remember this. Before Phil came in, we had the likes of Linsanity, and then the next year we had Jason Kidd, and the Knicks were actually made it to the first and second rounds of the playoffs, respectively. Then he came in after about a 500 season where the Knicks didn't make it. But, Phil was brought in to be the answer. And it seemed like instead of making the progress, which we thought we would have made, they went back down to square one,
and it was a loud
level that they went in the mid 2000s.
It was a loud, hollow fart of a tenure. It really was.
Yeah.
What was it, like 4 years, 4 years?
Something like that.
And
I remember us on Unspoken Podcast when he got released.
He deserved to be fired.
Nick Fodera and I threw a celebration when he got fired.
We did, because look, the reason why they were casting aspersions, quote unquote, the reason why they tell you were terrible is because you weren't winning. They brought you here to be the golden boy.
I was saying,
going to turn things around, and you didn't.
And as much as Melo declined during Phil's tenure, it seemed kind of agree-worthy that when Melo put his foot down and said, if I go, Phil's got to go too. And guess what happened? Both of them went.
Yeah, it threatened me with a good time.
The next one I would play, by the way, is the excuses he makes about Derek Fisher. Do
Which
we have that?
clip would that be?
I think it was the second one. I think
as a favor.
Oh no, it's not this one. It's the other one.
Other one. Okay.
It's okay. I think it's the first one.
Derek Fisher was one of my, I thought, top leaders of the Laker team, and a guy that understood the relationship of players to a game and offensively system play. Was himself caught up in a personal situation. There was a distraction, and at best undermined his authority with the team. And perhaps the best thing I could have done was then just coach the team myself, but I wasn't physically able to do that. Just, and to convey that through people I chose to step in didn't seem to work out. And as a consequence, I thought we had talent, but we never found that niche, that ability to play beyond just talent and play, concise, connected, organized basketball.
I mean, yeah, that's just what we needed. We needed Phil Jackson as a head coach. Now, he was a legendary head coach, yes. And yes, he was a better coach than a general manager. Because let's face it, how many times in sports have we seen coaches try to be, general managers, or players try to be general managers?
It's rare. It's very rare and very few and far between. Stan Van Gundy was a failure as a GM and a coach.
So, but my point is, even if he was the coach and he was at the level, that he was his legendary coach status, the fact that there was so much drama in the general manager's office and the president of basketball operations office, it courts, and it would have just ruined a hell of a lot worse than it already was. And I mean, that's a bottom line to try and find.
I have a problem with a few things he said in this quote here. One is, he said, if I could have come down and coached a team, I would have, but I'm physically not able to. How about shut up and do your job and find the right coach that belongs there? I'm sorry, but Kurt Rambis and Jeff Hornacek and Derek Fisher are three of the worst coaching decisions I've ever seen in my life. First of all, Derek Fisher had his issues off the court. If we all remember what happened with him, that he allegedly rolled off the road in a car accident, and he cheated with Matt Barnes' girlfriend. There's so many issues here.
Well, remember that Phil Jackson tried to acquire the services of Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr kind of saw through that facade and went to Golden State, and the rest is history.
Yes, because everyone sees through the Knicks organization. Jim Dolan is the worst owner in professional sports. I'm not talking about the NBA. I'm talking about professional sports. I'm serious.
Shall I play the next clip, speaking of Dolan?
Here, but just make sure you start from the beginning, because I see it's a little bit...
I know. Okay.
But this clip, I think, is the one about...
Dolan.
Is this the one about Dolan? Oh,
yeah, that's what I said.
Right. So the way I'll set this up is, he says Jim Dolan does him a favor. Take a listen.
I think as a favor, Dolan relieve me of the job. I think he actually did me a favor. Jim felt like, I was facing too big an uphill climb and, relieved me of the job because he just saw the media was going to be, backing Carmelo in this situation. And, I was going to be the guy that was taking the lumps.
Gee, wait a minute. The fans were going to defend the player over somebody in the front office. Gee, where have we heard that before?
I mean, I was not a big Melo fan at that point, and I still defended Melo.
No, but I'm serious though. Gee, the players being in charge is the most progressive league in all of sports? No, I wouldn't have thought that.
I keep telling you about progressive?
Seemingly progressive. Okay, yes, but as somebody who was in the league for as long as Phil Jackson was, and as much of a success as Phil Jackson was, if there's somebody who should know about that, it's guess who?
Well, there's
Phil
one
Jackson.
There's the one I just put up on the right, which talks about the no trade clause situation with Melo. Listen to this, because this is very telling of what Phil Jackson thought of the no trade clause.
Made a 5-year contract with Carmelo, and Carmelo as a leader, I think, wanted to be a leader, but I don't think he completely knew how to be a leader as a player. And I think that the strength of his personality was intimidating to some of the coaches that were asked to coach the team. And so there wasn't this compliance that has to go between players and coaches. And as much as I tried to interject my own beliefs in it, I don't think that you're close enough to the ground in that situation to really be effective in dictating how things are going to be done. I mean, you can bring in personnel, but then they have to face the actual personality of the team as it's constructed. At the end, I wanted to trade Carmelo, and it was, a situation I just had to say that this is my thing. He's got a no trade clause that they asked for, but I suggested that if there was a situation and I asked them to trade, I wanted to be compliant with it.
Yeah, okay. So, hypocrite. Who's the one that gave Melo the contract and the no trade clause?
Him.
Who's the one that had to agree to make this whole thing happen?
Him.
So I don't want to hear crap that he was upset. He wanted to trade him. And I didn't have time to put it in the clip because it was too long. But he says that I was stuck by the no trade clause. Well, dummy, why'd you give it to him?
Ladies and gentlemen, a classic case of buyer's remorse.
Thank you. Okay, we can move on then.
All right. You can remove the clips from there as we move along. Let's get through these next stories kind of quick here. So the Dolphins, we actually have movement. We have movement in the NFL draft world.
By the way, Tom, I give you carte blanche to say I told you so right now.
Well, congratulations, Eagles. So you lost that game on Sunday Night Football. You had that whole tank controversy. And what do you do with that pick? Oh, you only traded to the Dolphins. And the Eagles received number 12, and they get a 2021 fourth-round pick, 123. And the Dolphins get number 6, a fifth-round pick, and a first-round pick in 2022. What are you doing, Eagles?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I got nothing.
I mean, they really want to go with Jalen Hurts, and I can't blame them for doing that.
But now there's rumors that they'll still try to draft a quarterback in this draft, and I just don't get it. Jalen Hurts, you only gave him a few games.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you doing?
The Eagles are a terribly run organization. I mean, look at Jeffrey Lurie, for crying out loud. He doesn't know how to do anything. And
then the Dolphins take that number 3 pick that they had, San Fran, and they get number 12. They get the number 12 pick that they just got from the Eagles. I mean, they gave the. Hold on a minute.
I have the deal here. Do you want it?
The 49ers Dolphins deal happened first. Okay, so the 49ers got number 3, and the Dolphins ended up getting number 12, which they traded to the Eagles. That's how you word it. The Dolphins also got a 2021 third, another 2022 first, and a 2023 first. And I think one of those first was the compensation pick for Saleh hiring.
I mean, and what's so crazy from Adam Schefter is there's no players in this deal, but it's a blockbuster deal with massive ramifications for years to come. Quoted from Adam Schefter.
Well, I mean, think about what the Dolphins, though. The Dolphins win in this. They have all the confidence. They've given Tua the thumbs up. And if something happens, they have a whole bunch of picks in the next couple of years.
That's in the business what they like to call draft capital.
And the Eagles don't have draft capital, and they're in a position where they need help. And the 49ers, also quoting Schefter, they don't have plans to trade Jimmy G. So you know what I could see? And he actually mentioned that on NFL Live the other day. I could see a situation where they draft, say, Justin Fields, and then they have Fields sit behind Jimmy G, a la Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes that the Chiefs did, and then in 2022 get rid of Jimmy G and bring Fields into the quarterback realm. So now, here's what I'll end this topic on, Mr. Jets fan. Considering these two deals, considering the controversy that's going on with Deshaun, did the Jets, is it too late now for the Jets to either trade number 2 or trade Sam Darnold? Or at least they could have gotten more for either of them.
I think they're going to keep number 2. They have to keep number 2. They'd be stupid not to keep number 2. At
this rate, yeah. At this rate, I guess they're still planning, and the reports say they're still planning on Zach Wilson going to be a Jet.
If Zach Wilson is the pick, Sam Darnold's got to go. He can't be on the roster.
I would be surprised. I would be surprised if if the Jets are going to pick any of these guys, that Sam Darnold would still be on the roster.
Yeah, I don't really know.
And I do think, because now with what's going on with Deshaun, the couple of deals here with the Dolphins, I think the Jets kind of devalued the whatever they could get for either the number 2 pick or for Sam Darnold. They shot themselves in the foot here.
Right. We'll see what happens.
All right, one more story from the football world. Dan Snyder. So remember when the minority owners got a little rift with him with all the controversies that Washington was going through?
The 40%.
Right. Yeah. Well, now instead of Dan Snyder, everyone was calling for Dan Snyder to sell his portion. No. Now reports say he's going to buy out those minority owners and pretty much take full control, near 100%, if not 100%, of the Washington football team, who, by the way, it seems like will remain as... Get ready to play that again. So, guys, it seems like, as I was saying, the Washington football team, in terms of a new name, they are going to remain the Washington football team.
Wow, what would really be a good idea? Giving Dan Snyder more power. I mean, much in the same way you wouldn't give a chimp access to a nuclear missile. You do not give Dan Snyder more power because he will abuse it.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Gentlemen, the NFC East is it's the same as it ever was. Still a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't believe they want to keep the name, for crying out loud. Can we get a real name, please?
I guess they're taking the unique soccer-like approach. But
I don't know. Let's call it the Washington White Housers or something. I don't know. Just give it some kind of weird name at this point.
Use the DC term, like the DC, and then you can make a cool name. Like I don't know.
Let's be DC United. I don't know.
The Generals are right there.
Yeah, the Generals are. I'll give you a name. I'll give you a name that I use for custom Washington teams in my game. How about the DC Destroyers?
I mean, you
might want to be careful with that name with all the stuff that's been going on.
I mean, okay. It sounds like an Arena Football League name, but hey, could it be any worse than Washington Football Team?
No.
I mean, that's like calling Oreos chocolate cookie. Yes,
All right.
no.
All right. Another story here. Interesting. So remember when Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fought in November, that exhibition fight? So there's reports that Tyson and Evander Holyfield will have one of these Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, this is some kind of sick joke. For those of you who aren't old enough, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield have fought before.
Yes,
In
Evander
1998.
Holyfield has won twice. First, he took the WBA title from Tyson by, I think it was TKO in 96. Then came 97, the big rematch, December 97, and that was the infamous fight.
So, what had happened, if you don't know, context is necessary, Mike Tyson bit a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear off. I remember hearing about that when I was in first grade, and it was really, really, really weird even then. So this is I think the promoters are just screwing with us at this point. Hey,
I mean, guys, look at what boxing is going through. It's all about the celebrity name and the exhibition fights and everything. We have this. We have Jake Paul and Ben Askren in April. We have Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather whenever that's going to happen. Oscar De La Hoya is making a comeback in July. I guess in the same realm of Tyson and the exhibition fights.
coming in May, Oscar De La Hoya fights a giant anthropomorphic bottle of Mountain Dew. Come one, come all, and watch the boxing world collapse under the weight of its own ridiculousness.
That is the official theme song of boxing, the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme.
Yep. All right, let's get going.
One last one, guys. We have to mention this.
Yes!
Thursday, baseball is back.
Yes!
There's no lockouts. There's no controversy.
Not yet.
Not yet. We are going to have a full 162 game season as far as we know.
Yes!
With diminished capacity, but hey, baseball.
Let's enjoy this last season because we're probably not going to have baseball for 2 seasons after this. So
you had to jinx it. You had to go and jinx it.
No, we know it's going to happen. Come on, we know both sides are not there.
Gentlemen, I'll say in place of a preview. I mean, we can do more if we want next week, but just for this week, what is a storyline in Major League Baseball that you are looking at, and who are some of your favorites for the World Championship?
The Padres. The Padres, the Dodgers, and in the AL, the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
I mean, the Padres are going to be one of the more interesting teams to watch after all the buying that they've done, after all the cap that they have spent. Like, obviously, there's no cap, roof specifically in Major League Baseball, but they are not going to be able to retain all those players. So they've got 2, if not 3 more years. And Nick was saying is true, and our fears about the next couple of seasons, maybe even just this season. The Padres are going to be a team that's going to be worth watching.
This is the Dodgers all over again, like having 2 or 3 year window to win.
Right.
They did win, though. They won.
They did win, the Dodgers.
But I'm saying, like, if they want to win one more time, it would have to either be this year or they're probably going to be out again.
Right. So the Padres.
Go ahead.
Padres Dodgers is going to be the rivalry to watch this year.
It's going to be interesting baseball, and I'm just grateful for that.
I just hope that Tatis is healthy because he had a pretty significant injury towards the end of spring training. Now, Nick said something about the Blue Jays. I'm not 100% sure. They've had a lot of injuries towards the end of spring training.
I mean, they have a lot. They have a lot of youth on that team, though, with Bichette, with Guerrero Jr. They are on the up and up. The Yankees better watch their back. The Yankees, I mean, the injury fears might actually be happening with them already. Luke Voigt's going to be out for the first month of the season with a partially torn meniscus. So
Jay Bruce is going to be your starting first baseman for the Indians.
Instead of making a decision on Bruce or Tauchman now, they get another few weeks to decide.
They get another few weeks. But Jay Bruce has been hitting the cover off the ball since they signed him to a minor league contract.
But he looked scary at first base and not in a good way.
I mean, could it be any worse?
Wait a minute.
I mean,
you could be Pete Alonso at first base.
We just need his bat, not his glove.
And then I'll say another team, guys, that everyone is sleeping on. Well, first of all, since we are New Yorkers and we said Yankees, we also have to mention the crosstown rival Mets. Their first year under Steve Cohen officially. That's going to be something worth watching.
I mean, watching Francisco Lindor more regularly is definitely going to be something I'd love to do because I always like that guy.
But there is. Okay, go ahead.
I think that contract is going to be a distraction all season.
Well, let me mention one other team that really we need to be talking about: the Atlanta Braves. I mean, that was a team of youth and talent that has made progress over the last few years. They made it to the NLC last year. Is now the time? Like they're going to face some stiff competition with the Padres and the Dodgers, but is now the time where they could potentially lock up the NL pennant. I mean, Sports Illustrated is predicting the Braves beat the Yankees in the World Series.
You could definitely win the division.
I was going to say, and speaking of the Yankees and Blue Jays, and I'll even throw in the White Sox with their talent, although Giolito is now going to be out for a significant amount of time, which is damning for that team. The Twins still looking to get over the hump. I mean, I look at the competition in the AL, and, it's all great, all good teams, but I don't know if any of the American League teams could beat a National League team in the World Series. Not those National League leaders like the Padres, the Braves, the Dodgers.
I don't know. And I mean, but it's going to make for interesting baseball anyway.
The one thing I will say is that the odds of repeating that we've seen in the past are nearly impossible.
We've seen teams, go back-to-back World Series appearances, but like the Royals only won one because they lost to the Giants the first time they did.
Yeah, we've not seen a team repeat since the 98 to 2000 Yankees.
Right, and even then, the Yankees, they made it 2001 and lost to the Diamondbacks in 7 games. The Phillies made it back-to-back. They beat the Rays in 08, but then lost to the Yankees in 09.
It's just hard to do. It's a hard feat. And also when you play a long season and then you have to turn around and go right to the next season, that's hard.
Actually, and even then, it's hard to win at least one of them. The Rangers made it in 11-12, and they lost to the Cardinals and Giants.
So, it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to Major League Baseball. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, after being able to experience a full NFL season despite all this shit, I'm looking forward to seeing a full baseball season despite everything going on in the world. So, like I said, it's progress. We only had 10 to 20% capacity minus that opening day game for the Rangers,
which is its own can of worms.
Right, but I'm just happy baseball's back.
Me too.
And at perfect time, and that's going to wrap it up for us. We're out of time here on Empty the Bench. Make sure to follow us all across our socials. You see them scrolling on the bottom of your screen here. And that's going to pretty much do it for episode number 78. So, for Nick Fodera and Nick Morgasen, I'm Tom Albano, and we'll see you next time on Empty the Bench. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody!
Good night.